Hello. Yep. Welcome everyone. We'll wait for a bit before we get started.
Testing, testing. Testing.
Yeah. We'll start at 8 p.m. So can we start filing in the room, and we can start because there are some people waiting in the broadcast. I'll probably remove this as well. Can we get the people outside to come inside? Gui, you can hear us, right? All good?
Yes, yeah, I can
Yes.
hear.
And we can hear you. All right, perfect. He's in Penang, so we're doing the KL Penang. Well, it used to be. We used to do it like that, and now we have a user doing the thing. It's like herding cats to get inside. Hello, hi. Are you here for Elixir or for Ruby? For Ruby. All right, perfect. Sounds good. You can, yeah. I don't work here, so but I'm just asking you to go find wherever you want to sit. Oh, this thing moves. Does it? I don't know. Ah, okay. Oh, this one is locked. Okay. Oh, this whole sail moves, but right now it's locked. Okay. So just be careful, probably. Ah, okay. Yeah. Oh, hello. Yeah. Did we? I don't remember. Sorry. Ah, yeah, yeah, yeah. I remember you. Yeah. Now we have a lot more people starting to get again. Has is on vacation. Yes. Okay. All right. Is this all of us? Or are there still people from outside? Like we'll probably get them and then we'll start in like a minute or so. We're starting soon, and you can just come in if you want, but we will be starting soon. They're still doing some business and connections and networking outside, but we'll start. Kangsheng, we're okay? Gui, we're good? We'll probably start this. All right. Welcome to Ruby Tuesdays, our monthly meetup for Ruby. But today, so Ruby Tuesdays from KL 94, Penang number 43, and Elixir, they don't have a number because it's immutable and they don't know whatever happened before. So so that's no, because I don't know their number, that's why I'm just making that joke. But actually, do you want version numbers of your meetups? You don't know. Yeah, we'll always have it the fresh state, whatever they have. So we're doing it in collaboration with KL Elixir and also in collaboration with engineers.my. This, if you go to the YouTube channel engineers.my, you'll see a lot of the presentations from KLJS, DevOps, Junior Dev, Tevan. I don't know if you're still streaming to that YouTube channel. Tevan, our co-mafia person here who does the like a number of the largest meetups in KL. So you can go there, watch a few of our recordings. And hello from Germany, dropping for a bit. Wow, cool. Welcome from Malaysia. I don't know what the time is in your place. I think it's early morning, I guess. No, I don't know. Afternoon. Okay. And yeah, engineers.my YouTube channel. You can take a look for past recordings over there. You can. So this is very Ruby specific because the Elixir group is still getting their feet up again, trying to get the meetups running again from 3 years ago, and so most of our slides will be the KL Ruby Brigade. This is the Facebook group. This is the meetup group. I added the Elixir Malaysia as an afternote there. You can go there, and there's the GitHub page. You can see all of the presentations, all of the stuff that we've done in KL Ruby Brigade here. And if you want Slack, there's Slack. Invite yourself. And Discord, we only do this if we have like a workshop or something. So we're not using it today. All right, let's introduce ourselves. I am Tristan, also known as Parasquid. I work at Hivekind. We organize KL Ruby Brigade.
And I'm Kang Xiong. You can call me KS. I work in Mindvalley.
Yeah, Mindvalley. By the way, I didn't put the logo, but they are kindly hosting us with the food and with the space. So thank you very much. And of course, we have Gui?
Hi, I'm Gui. I'm a software engineer in Penang, so I'm a co-organizer of Ruby meetups in
Yeah.
Penang.
Yeah. So we've been co-organizing it with Penang and the KL group. So we just need to find a co-organizer in the KK Sabah Sarawak area, and then we have a One Malaysia thing happening here. All right. Just a reminder, just like you saw with the person from Germany, if you're watching online on YouTube, we might present your comment over here and it will be shown on the stream. So just be aware. If you want to be private, then please try not to try not to do that. But if you want to show up on stream, then we will. You can comment on YouTube on this, but your profile picture and your comment might show up on stream. We do use the Ruby code of conduct. I haven't seen the Elixir code of conduct yet, but it's probably similar. Do you have an idea? Where? Nope, you don't have any. We'll use the Ruby code of conduct. You can find it at rubylang.org/en/conduct. Yeah, so it's basically just be good to each other. And that's it. So we'll go straight to our first presentation. Yes. we Why Elixir by Kang Sheng. Do you have the clicker? All good? All right. Yes.
Yes. So my name is KS, and I work in Mindvalley as an Elixir developer. Today, I'm gonna try to sell you the good points of Elixir. Yes. So, have any one of you heard of Elixir? Can I get some hands? So, Elixir is a language built on top of the Erlang language. So, if you look at the history over there, it's actually like 36 years old. So it's actually older than Ruby. The Erlang language is older than Ruby. So I would say Elixir is built on a mature language platform. Yeah. So how I started with Elixir, when I was working here, we were mostly a Ruby applications developer. And there are growing interest among the team about Elixir. And just so coincidentally, there's a new project coming up. And the CTO gave us a green light to start using Elixir. And we've been coding in Elixir since 2017. One of the nice things about Elixir is that we have this standard documentation tool that we use. For developers, is most of the time just looking at the docs, but because of this tool, when people write docs, it's already generated in the same format. It's easy to navigate for developers. Any third-party libraries that you use would have the same layout. Yeah, it's easy to write, easy to read, and easy to use. And for those that like to have use the light mode, there is also light mode. If you just click on this settings thing here, you can change it to light mode.
Elixir?
Sorry?
Elixir has light mode.
Elixir? No, this is the dock. Yeah. And we have Credo. Credo is a static code analysis tool. It's run to make sure that you write consistent code and it presents you opportunity to refactor. We normally have this integrated into our CI pipeline so that whenever people push any code to Git, we make sure that all the warnings are taken care of before we allow merging. So yeah, no more arguments about code, right? just follow this thing. We have concurrent tests. Have anyone seen this XKCD comic before? Yeah. I just changed the compiling to running tests because from my past experience with Ruby, we have tests that runs for like 10 to 30 minutes sometimes. And down here, you can see the GIF. This is actually real time on how long it takes for our about 5-year-old application to run tests. There's like 2,000 tests and it completed in like 27 seconds. And you might think that, well, then you might need to write the code in a different way or something, right? But no, this is just how we write our code. It's pretty similar to Ruby, I think. Yes, so in Elixir land, we only have data and functions. So data go into functions, functions output data. On the OO side, they have data, and then you have object initializations, and you create object, and then the data is with the object, and then the method returns either another object or itself or another data. So yeah, this is a quote from the creator of Erlang. The problem with OO is that you want a banana, but what you get is a gorilla holding a banana and the whole jungle with it. And yeah, this is one of the main reasons people started looking at Elixir, right? So I did a synthetic Rails benchmark. It's basically just a single controller that returns hello world text. Yep, the configuration is single core, 800 threads on the Puma. And the best result that I get running on that tiny laptop over there is 666 requests per second. And you can see the histogram here. Most of them completed under like 700 milliseconds, but there are outliers where they take like 8 seconds to complete. This is the chart. And I did a similar synthetic benchmark on Phoenix, single core as well. There's no configuration of threads needed because Elixir works differently. Yeah, so you can see the request per second there is like 5,736. And if you look at the histogram, most of them completed within, all of the requests completed within like 700 milliseconds. There's no weird cases where one of the requests takes like 8 seconds to complete. The best part is I just need to increase the core count and the request per second increase without having us manually tuning the application servers like Puma, where you configure the worker count and thread count. I'm pretty sure Rails developer is familiar with these questions, right? Were you able to scale Rails? Yes. What did it cost? Yep. Were you able to scale Phoenix? Yes. What did it cost? This is just to talk about the typical setup of a Rails application, right? You have Nginx at the front to handle static content. And then depending on your CPU count, you need to configure the number of worker because the default Ruby virtual machine MRI is it has a GVL, it's global virtual machine lock. So only one thread can run at a time. So that's why you need to have like 2 workers, meaning there's like 2 instances of Ruby here. And then the threads is just to handle IO. For Elixir, it's different because all our applications run in Elixir processes. So let's say Phoenix like runs here, and then whenever it needs to run, the scheduler just picks the processes and run them. It tries to run them all fairly evenly. That's why we don't have the weird cases where there are requests taking 8 seconds to complete. Whereas in here, the threads are actually on the operating system level. So the Ruby application don't really have any control when the threads actually run. Yeah. So I think what I was telling you about just now, we have that like 5 years ago. So it's only been getting better and better. I think it's a great time to start exploring Elixir coding and become an alchemist.
Yes, so this is, what is this? What are these? This is your GitHub page.
Yeah, context, yeah. If you want to run the Rails benchmark, I made a GitHub repository. It's
So it's the same thing that you just showed, this, what do you call this? The synthetic benchmark.
Yeah, synthetic
from Puma.
benchmark.
Hmm.
The stuff. I've only uploaded the Ruby one. The Phoenix one, I will upload it later.
But if you go back to the test that you wrote, it's very similar to Ruby code.
You mean the concurrent test?
Yeah, the
Yeah,
test. Yeah, what's up with that?
Yeah,
I thought
Elixir is inspired by Ruby. Yeah. So the syntax is pretty similar.
Yeah, because I would have thought I was looking at our spec at this point.
Yeah, so if you are writing Ruby, this is Elixir, so
I mean, can my Ruby code just run in Elixir, just like that?
no.
No. I mean, we can try, but
Yeah.
not guaranteed to always work. Okay, yes. Thank you, Kang Sheng, for trying to convince us that Elixir is a better thing. Yes, you have it's better this for the.
Okay. It's just related to the Beam VM picture that you showed just now. So does that mean that Elixir doesn't use operating system threads? They do their own thread management?
It's invisible to the Elixir developer. What you look at when you develop for Elixir is just here. You spin up processes, Elixir processes, and it handles it. All your code and state and data is all inside one of these things. And it's lightweight because it's not operating system processes. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Thanks.
So you mentioned about the developer doesn't have to care, as if Ruby developers have to care. Does that? No. I mean, you're doing a compare contrast, right? So I want to see what you think about, like, why would Ruby developers have to care? In what sense do they have to do that?
You mean threads?
Yeah, threads.
Well, you need to configure the Puma.
Oh, so it's purely in the realm of the configuration of the web server.
Most of the time, yeah. I
Okay.
mean, this is the one of the main
Mm-hmm.
point. Yeah.
And I guess, yeah, if you want to do concurrency, then you think about worker, sidekick, putting it into a different process.
Ah, yes. That as well. If you need to have a background worker, you will spin up another Ruby process that just handles the background worker. But for Elixir, it's just another one of these dots. So you just deploy this whole thing to the server. It's easier for the SRE/DevOps as well. Like,
They just replace the server? Are you saying like that?
no.
It's easier for the SRE?
It's just one process. Whereas in Rails, the SRE needs to know about Ruby and how each of them work so that they can deploy it properly. For Elixir, you just deploy this one thing.
Yep. So apparently, well, yeah, Smart Boom says you can use the ports. I guess I don't know if there's an automatic way to do that, but apparently you can easily port Ruby code to run into Elixir because they have a similar syntax. Is that right?
I have never heard of it.
Okay. Yeah, we have another comment saying, did the test that you just demo use multiple database connections for parallelism?
No, we run a sandbox connection, so you don't actually.
So I guess he's asking, like, do you have a pool, so multiple connections, or is it like serialized connection to the database, and then you're just
No, it's a pool.
it's a pool.
Yeah.
How many connections on the pool? I'm just translating what he's trying to say.
It's up to the configuration.
No, I mean for the demo that you just did.
I don't recall, but I think by default it was 20.
So we can check when he uploads the Phoenix portion of
No,
demo.
the test is our
ah
application. So
it's the application.
our,
Okay.
our in-house application that's been living for 5 years. So
Mhm, mhm.
and it's still running at under 30 seconds. So yeah.
Okay, so in that case, that test is a production test that connects to the database as part of the test, or is it all unit test without any database backend?
There is database, but we don't actually write data. It's you put data in, but it doesn't get written. It's deleted after the test finish.
And that's an Elixir thing.
I don't think that's an Elixir thing. I think Ruby can have that as well.
Okay. All right. So hopefully, Amri, we answered your question. Do we have any more questions here? Yes. Sorry.
Hi, I have a question regarding for new joiners. So I have a background in PHP, JavaScript, C#, and I don't know Ruby. So what's the learning experience to use Elixir? That's number one. And number two, I see the performance part is because of the concurrency. So what's the difference between the Alka concurrency, Golang concurrency, and Erlang concurrency? Thank you.
That's a lot of questions, but
The learning curve for Elixir compared to Ruby, since you've done both.
the learning curve for Elixir.
Without knowing Ruby.
Well, if you can write functions and you understand data structures, that's all you need.
Sorry, what was your second question?
About the concurrency.
Concurrency. What about the concurrency compared to
Model
Ruby?
between Golang, Erlang, and Akka.
Between Golang, Akka, I'm just repeating for the stream.
I'm not 100.
Yeah, Java.
Akka is Java.
I have zero idea about.
It's using actor model, that kind of thing. So I don't know whether it's the same. How do you
Yeah,
shape state?
I have zero idea about Akka, but for Golang, I believe it's using Go threads or something. Yeah, Go routines.
No, it's good to have like other programming languages compared, contrasted, especially if you're selling us Elixir.
Yeah, maybe I can answer on the number the two parts. Okay, maybe based on my experience, if you really strong in OO, and then I mean if you really deep in OO, just you may in my experience, I kind of like need to unlearn everything, just focus on functions first. The basic idea is data transformations. That's basically the core of Elixir.
Yes.
Function, data in, data out. Basically. And then the function basically just do whatever data manipulations that you have. So that's number one. And then don't never do things in OO way.
Yes.
Just functions. And then that's number one. Number two is process. Just think of whatever things, the flow of your programs, the flow of your the flow of your software is process. So functions is your data transformations, and then the flow is your process. So that's number one. That's number one. I think if you are able to understand and internalize that, and I think you count him. Count him. So that's number one. And then on the concurrency part, I would like to add on your questions. So in Beam, basically Beam is the virtual machines for Erlang, so which is what Elixir runs on top. So how it works basically is the every process have their own CPU cycles, their own meaning. Let's say we have 1,000 processes, and then CPU will divide their time into this all 100,000 process, and then it will allocate all these 100,000 processes equally. It's not like Node.js where any process, where any execution, they will get the CPU times, and then after it completes after it's complete the compute, and then move to the next one. But in Beam, every process will get the equal CPU times. So and then that's why you're able to do the multi-concurrency. Yeah, and then Beam basically based on actor models. So that's why they have supervision tree, whatever. You can go deep into that. So yes, thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah. So
We have so number one is data functions. Sorry, data in, data out. So data in function and then data out. And the second is that you have an actor model on the concurrency.
yeah.
So we have a question from online by Steven. What cases would Ruby be better than Elixir?
If you just want to make a CLI application, just go.
Is it difficult to make a CLI application in
It's
Elixir?
simpler to just write it in Ruby, and intense arithmetic. Ruby would be, I think, better than Elixir, but the better option with Python.
The C bindings for Ruby is more mature. Is that what you're saying? You're asking.
No, because if you're just gonna run one thing in a full CPU and it's just one core that you need, then just do it in.
But won't Python just be better in terms of C bindings?
Yes,
Because it
that's
has
what
a
I
more
said.
mature. Okay.
but in Elixir we have Neve, and then we can basically interface with Rust through Rustler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. All right. Do we have more questions? Sorry, GUI is doing the backend management. If he doesn't show anything up there, then we are going to go to something that he wants to present quickly, which is a CVE. Yes. If we're just taking a look at some of the comments. All right. Well, yeah. So I guess we don't have any more that he wants to highlight. Yeah. So thank you for Kangsheng presentation. Hopefully he tried to convince us Elixir is better. I think there are some pros and cons. It's really up to the developer to try it out and see which one they would like to move on to. Like there are ways to scale things. It's just different, I would say. That's how I would go about it. PHP though, that's a different different story. I'm kidding. PHP is still good. It's just like the violas of the development world. Everyone just yeah. So GUI, are we okay with your? He just wants to share quickly a CVE for Rails.
I'm trying to share my screen right now, but yeah, something.
Common vulnerability something E. It's a CVE. Then it's a number, and then it's how you track vulnerabilities. So basically, if you say this is CVE number something something, oh, this is the log4j or whatever, right? Well, it's not. That's log4j. It's for every big vulnerability. So GUI is
I
going
think
to
I need to rejoin though. Something happened. I can't share my screen somehow.
Okay, well, in that case, I will do something first, which is a Ruby program that I did to scratch an itch. Let me see if I'm still sharing. No, I'm not sharing the screen. I will show this. All right, so this is Netemail core. I just named it like over the weekend. If I scroll up, you can go to my GitHub page, Parasquid Netemail. The most of the files there are really just like platform specific stuff. The actual code that I wanted to show is sync.rb. But I'll just quickly, so I'm probably going to do a more complete presentation of this next month when I have things fully running. But as of now, this is complete for my purposes. It's not necessarily configurable or whatever. But I did this to scratch an itch because my Gmail account is out of 37 gigs, it's already 35 gigs. And it's just Gmail. So you'll probably see me looking at this. It's a Pixel 3 because if you have a Pixel phone, any videos that this phone uploads is free on Google Drive. So I have like dash cam videos, like all the videos of photos, etc. coming. So the way you do it is you copy the files here and then let this automatically back up to Google Drive. So that's the advantage of Pixel phones. So I've been doing all of that, and it's still 35 gigs of just all email. I've removed all of the attachments. I had that when Google came out, when Gmail came out. It was a 1st of April. We thought it was a joke, but it was true. Google actually did an email client, and then I was one of the first ones who had that Google email. But yeah, so it's been long time, like years, almost 20 years, I think, right? No, yeah, almost 20 years because it was 2004, I think. And it's full, and I want to back it up because I wanted to do my own analysis. Google Mail is great for search, but I wanted to have like a single tab for all of my attachments, for example. Or I want to see all of the things that I've attached into classifying pictures, PDFs, etc. I want to see all of them at the same time. I want to do like textual analysis, lexical analysis. What are the words that I always use for email? Who are the people I've been emailing a lot? So, and most importantly, I want to back up the files because it's going to be full. I want to make sure that it's still the same account because I got tristan.gomez@gmail.com. I get all spams of people trying to reset my email account because people don't think that people can get your first name, last name as a Gmail account now. So this is connecting to Gmail through IMAP and writing it through SQLite. And if you go through, this is the point where I want to show quickly one of the things that I don't know if Elixir can do. Oh, it's too small, sorry. Control plus, yes. And this is probably one of the things that I don't know if Elixir can do, which is meta programming. So I learned this over the weekend, instance variable get. And the way it works is you run instance variable get on an object, you pass it a string, it returns you a reference to the instance variable of that string. So you'll see @parser, right, which is an instance variable of the IMAP object. And the way I get, basically it's like @parser, but it's scoped inside this object. So I'm changing on the fly the definition of that particular object inside. And the reason why I do that is because in the mail gem, if I scroll down here, the only way you can get the reference to the IMAP connection is through this this loop. So you mail.find, all of these options, I get the IMAP here, right? And it would be nice if I can instantiate it myself, but I cannot. It's given to me, it's yielded to me by the .find method. And the only way I can do that is I have to patch the object, which you saw up there, and the way I can do that is to do instance variable get. So I wanted to show quickly some meta programming I learned over the weekend while I was going through like this scratch and itch thing. But yeah, eventually I will probably get this. I'm planning on putting on like some kind of viewer on top of this. Right now, this is just a single CLI script, like what Kang Sheng was saying. It's quick for me to write the CLI script here. This is just one whole thing, one whole script, and you see I can run this. It has a proper sigil here, and if you go to the README, you can see that you can run a single command, bundle it, and then you run it. Right? Do we have any questions? And hopefully, Gui is also ready. Yes, he's ready. We have questions on here. Yes.
I'm curious about your approach in this case because so Google has like for Gmail specifically, there's Google Takeout, which will dump like an mbox file, right? So I'm curious why you chose this approach versus parsing an mbox file.
So I don't know if Google Takeout has the message ID of Google. So the reason why I had to patch this is because of what's called Google IMAP specific, Google specific IMAP extensions, right? So so IMAP is a standard. It has an RFC and all of these things, but Google added things on top. It's these three that I need to patch in. You have GM labels, GM message ID, and GM thread ID. So this is probably going to be better for I'll cover this more in depth, the IMAP intricacies for the next meetup. But what you can, one thing is that if you're working with IMAP, you don't actually have an ID that's unique through all of your IMAP account. Your ID, which is called the UID here in IMAP, you'll see here, UID data, the UID here, right? If you, IMAP will return a UID. This is specific to a mailbox. And if there is something called a UID validity of a mailbox, if that changes, the UID that you get for that mailbox is invalid, and the IMAP client, according to the RFC, you should remove the cache and you should re-download all of your messages. And so there's no such thing as unique ID across everything. That's why Google added called GM MSG ID, and it is unique across your account. And what I want to do here eventually is that download everything, go through the database, search for that GSM ID on IMAP, because you have Google specific extensions as well for IMAP to search for a message ID and then delete it and then get everything out. I don't know if I can do that on Takeout, but because I wanted to make sure I have downloaded everything I can download of that particular email before I delete it, right? So I don't have that guarantee with Google Takeout. Yeah.
Another good reason is that you can do the sync constantly, and with the takeout, you need to always download the full thing, if I'm not mistaken. So,
Yeah, another thing that I might need to explain about IMAP is that about the search parameters. How do you search, or how do you only download everything that you have not downloaded yet? So these are like I want to go through the thinking process behind this for the next meetup. So hopefully you come for next month. Yes. All right. So Gui, are we ready for you?
Yep.
Yes, you are. Okay. So Gui, again, from Penang.
Hi. So I'm going to share one of the issue that I work on today. So this is a CVE. So we upgrade our Rails recently because there's a CVE issued. So this CVE is related to YAML, where it can escalate into an RCE when you load a YAML. So somehow when we upgrade our Rails application breaks, and so this is the log that I had working today. So we try to log out, and then we hit 500 errors, and then there's a long list of like tracing back, and then we see something like this. Psych, this allowed class. So this is very weird because we don't have issues previously until we upgrade Rails and Ruby. So we try to fix this problem for a few sprints, and there's no, because we assign it to a junior developers, there's no new solution around it. So I look at it. Some quick search around the internet, you're able to see that if you upgrade to Ruby 3.1 or Rails, as mentioned here, Rails 6161, you hit this error where it does not allow unsafe serialization from active record. So you need to permit it. How to permit it? Here is the way. Under application.rb, you can specify which class that you want to permit for serialization. If you don't permit it, you will get random error like this, throwing out.
Is it safe to permit them? Like just permit
yes.
everything?
Yeah, if you know what you are doing, yes. There's one blanket to disable this feature entirely. This fix entirely is to do unsafe load. It's not recommended, but if you have too many things,
I guess the question is why was it here in the first place, right? What is the problem it's trying to solve?
yeah. So the impacts here. So it's trying to solve the YAML unsafe load, meaning that it could load an attacker specific data that it can compromise your Rails application, something like SQL injection. To prevent that, that's why this patch being issued, so that when you load or serialize your data, they won't able to attack the system.
We have a question here, Gui.
you showed the configuration option, like where you can enable some classes.
Yes.
Permit some classes. Can this be done at instead of a global configuration for the app in the only one place where you want it to be allowed, like on the model itself? Can you say like here you can deserialize this?
I'm not sure. Let me see whether there's one. You can do it if you have access to the YAML. In terms of serialization on the model class, I'm not sure, because I did it according to the advice from this the CVE, where I put it into application.
So I guess this is for the Rails global, but I think YAML.load already has a permitted thing by default.
Yeah.
I mean, the function is there if you want to use it. So if you serialize it yourself, you can use it. But if you're using Rails to automatically serialize it, I guess that's where the question is. Like, now you have to do it manually instead of
Yes,
doing it
something like
across.
this, right? It depends where it being triggered, right? For like active records. For my use case, I'm using device. So device uses some portion of active record, thus trigger this issue because the application runs perfectly with logins, with operations, and then it only hits error 500 when I do the sign up. So you will get random errors at random place throughout the process. So yeah, if
We
you
have
don't
another
want,
question here.
yeah,
Sorry, if you have, and then you can finish your thought, and then we have the question.
yeah, it's okay. You can.
Actually, what's the cause of the errors itself? Like, what is causing it? And yeah,
Yeah.
can you
So
explain more, elaborate more on the error itself? Like,
so this is basically the patch that's enforcing the unsafe loading. So it doesn't allow me to use this class hash within different access. So what is this? So this is basically I think it's under active support where if you do a colon white or a string white, it refers to the same thing, right? Rather than being unique, it refers to the same thing. So this is the class that's being blocked by the process here. So tracing back, that's a long list of things, but it's coming from Ruby that's blocking it. But it will go back to like active records, and then more downward it will be device. Yeah. So it's I would say it's a long list. But yeah, if you hit this when you upgrade to 6161 or the version listed here, yeah, do check this out because the version that is affected is all, like none, not affected is none. Basically, once you get once you are on Rails 7, 6, or 5, you need to apply this patch if possible, right? Yeah.
Do we have questions here? I have a question for the Elixir people. Like, do you encounter these things? No? Yeah. Well, how do you load something in? Like, because this is a problem with loading a human readable configuration file onto, well, in case of Ruby, and onto an object so that they can read the configuration, right? And the problem is that it can be unsafe because YAML, as a serialization format, you can serialize executable code. And when you serialize executable code, when Ruby parses through it, it executes a thing because that's how Ruby executes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so about serialization.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, so Carlos is saying it's unrelated to human readable. It's just that YAML happens to be. Yeah, but it is correct that it has a problem with serialization. Basically, when you read serialized data, you run and you can execute the thing. That's a problem that it's trying to solve.
Yes.
No comment from the Elixir people. Sorry. Okay, no comment yet. All right. So, yep.
That's
Sorry,
a
yep, Guli.
that's a Alexa link that I shared in the comments of the meetup, so you can look up. So they did explain how the Alexa link to Beam, and then how.
So this is not related to the CVE, right? This is a separate topic.
No, yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, you can check out the article because it mentioned that although Alexa doesn't need to really understand how the background works because they take care of it, but it's best to understand what's actually on the code, right? To fix the bug. Yeah. Yeah. I think pretty much it for this because I encountered this and able to fix it. Yeah, it's not related to device. We spend a lot of time around device, but in the end, it's just configuration submitted by the latest patch. Yeah.
Okay, we are waiting for someone to finish their meeting so they can present. They said it's going to be at 9. We finished a bit early because Kang Sheng finished his presentation early. So I need to fill the time. So now I will have to ask, who are new to Ruby here? No? Oh, so all are like, okay. So we new to Ruby. And are you new developers or new to Ruby? A new developer, and Ruby just happens to be something that you wanted to learn. Okay. All right. And how are we so far with the presentations? What kind of presentations would you like to hear about in the future for both Elixir and Ruby, since we're doing a mixed meetup right now? Like what would you want to know? Like what are you looking for in a meetup? I guess that Tevan also would like to know about this because he does the KLGS, DevOps, etc. But although I think if Tevan arranges a meetup, everyone just comes. They don't care what the content is, right? Yeah. No, but yeah, we're interested because we want to know what to prepare for the next ones, like who to talk to, like who to ask for presentations or something like that. Yes, sorry. Yeah, okay. Well, yeah, you can just say if it's short and then I can just repeat here. Projects. So the types of projects that you can write either in Ruby or Elixir. Yeah. Is the one that I just did, like the scratch and itch. I call that a scratch and itch project. I just wanted to do something. I have a weekend free. I do it. Is that something that you'd like to hear about? Okay. A chatbot. Chatbots are great, I guess, for Elixir because you have to do it in real time. You have to process things in real time, right? You would usually use Node.js for real time stuff, but I think Elixir is a better thing, right? Yeah, you think so?
Uh, but slightly behind than Python and Golang.
So just now you mentioned about the NLP. Ah, yeah. Yeah, I think in there's recent developments on the machine learnings, data engineering part of on Elixir. I think there's a project called Exons, right? NX, Elixir NX. Yeah, NX, and then there's a bunch of libraries under that umbrella, which is Elixir also have umbrella applications. So yeah, I think maybe in the future for Elixir we'll do a numbers of tracks, maybe from beginners, and then I think the numbers of the multiple topics that we can explore, beginners topics, and then recently some of the hot topics is a live view, basically built on top of the concurrency models, and also we just in Elixir also there's explorations on the data engineering and machine learnings. There's a range of stuff that we can explore together. Yeah.
Yeah, basically my question is like, so how's the interest for Elixir and Ruby in general currently in Malaysia and stuff? And how do you find like juniors are like willing to learn Ruby and Elixir, or like are they interested in, or how is it for you?
I don't know. Maybe we should ask business owners what's the yes. Oh, yeah, do we I thought, well, we're all interested in the like how our well, are we going to answer Tevan's question?
I mean, you should answer it.
I don't know. So that's the thing. What is the general climate of like how many that's why I wanted to ask like any business owners here, like what's the uptake of Ruby developers that you've seen, especially if you're a Ruby
You can answer it.
development. No?
I mean,
Ruby are what, sorry? Definitely more Rubyists than alchemists. Hmm. At the moment, you have plans for increasing the number. Well,
okay, how about I put it this way? Like, how is it in Mindvalley itself? Like, how like Mindvalley is looking to expand more in Elixir, or like how do you guys plan to do? Yeah,
sorry, wait.
like,
Yes, we're trying to expand by growing the team with more Elixir developers. It's been a tough journey because there's not that many Elixir developers.
do you find it hard for the talents or the juniors that doesn't want to learn about
Yeah,
Elixir?
I mean, what I've been hearing is that we're offering a really high rate for juniors and nobody's picking up.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. You know, I don't think it's the language. It looks pretty much like Rails. So
Convert.
Hire Ruby people and convert them. Okay, that's an idea.
Hey, I can say something on this topic. So our company is called Hivekind. We used to be Rapid River. Some of you might have heard of us from back in the day. We've been hiring Ruby developers and JavaScript developers in 2022. And our impression is the sort of uptake or the applications for JavaScript just eclipses Ruby. Like there's a lot more interest on the JavaScript side. But there's also less quality in the applications as well overall. So we get a lot of JavaScript interest, but we also like eliminate a lot of the candidates because of just poor quality. Ruby developers seem pretty entrenched. So there definitely are companies out there in KL and in the world that are doing Ruby. Like there's several teams, but they're pretty, like I said, the developers are pretty entrenched. They're pretty happy where they are. They don't have a lot of trouble finding a good conditions of employment, good salaries, good benefits, etc. So there's less sort of interest when you just list a job and people are applying. There's a bit less interest. You have to you maybe have to approach Ruby developers and entice them or actually catch their attention. So those are some of the things that we've seen this year. I can't talk to Elixir though, honestly, because we haven't been recruiting Elixir developers. But I would imagine my understanding of the Elixir scene is that it's just a lot smaller than the Ruby scene. And regardless of the quality of the language or the performance, like because the pool is so small, then for us as an agency, it's less attractive because it's a smaller market to work within. So I don't have a lot to say on Elixir.
So probably, at least in Malaysia, from what we know, the pool is a lot smaller, and I guess that's probably another reason why you should switch from Elixir to Ruby. Right? No.
More jobs.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, but well, it's the same. So I had this similar question, like a few years ago, where like they asked like, what about Java developers? It's the similar thing. You have a very wide spectrum of like JavaScript is going the way of Java, basically. You have a very wide spectrum, and it's very difficult to get like the top portions because they are. Sorry, Jimmy, we have one more question, then we'll get back to you.
It's to answer your previous question around what we'd like to see from a meetup, right? I'm actually curious. What I remember is that typically if you run Ruby or Rails projects, the default place to deploy it is Heroku. Now that Heroku is like, I'm curious about what the new default / attractive place to deploy is. Yeah.
We throw it to Jimmy. So Jimmy, now that Heroku is gone, what's the default place to throw your weekend projects?
Can you guys hear me still?
Yes, we can hear you.
You can hear me.
Yes, we can.
Heroku?
Yeah, well, now that Heroku is gone.
What do you mean Heroku is gone?
Heroku? No, well, we so for deployment.
No, seriously, what do you mean Heroku is gone? My company is using Heroku.
Heroku is no longer free, basically. So there's
it's no longer free. Yeah. Oh.
So where do we smooch off other companies to deploy our projects?
I use DigitalOcean for my other projects, but yeah, it's kind of hard to find
for now. I guess.
Yeah, and it's also
You
probably
can still survive on like free Amazon credits, I guess.
yeah. And well, it's also a big issue because many developers want to do programming and not what they think would be deployment. And so because Heroku makes it easy, right? You just get push and then that's it. You don't have to care about like your like how where does it run or those things. But if you do DigitalOcean or Amazon, you have to start thinking about these. Okay, so
Yeah.
Fly.io. Fly.io is the new thing. All right, yep. I think Helio, you were saying? Flood. Mm-hmm. Render.io. Yeah, okay. Render.io. Yes. Okay. So Carlos is recommending an open source self-hosted platform where you still do the Git push. Of course, you have to configure it yourself as well. Might as well deploy it yourself then, right? Yeah. Yeah. Hmm. Sorry, what's the name?
The
Cap Rover. Yeah. Okay,
I
sorry.
was saying I
Sorry,
use
Jimmy.
Docker. No, I use Doku for one of
Doku.
my pet projects.
Dokku. Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Stephen comments saying Elixir has been focusing on building tooling for ML and data science. I didn't know that. Okay, sure. Explorer NX Axon tensor support. Well, yeah, maybe something for our next meetup. Like lots of like ideas there. All right, so I'll introduce you to Jimmy, who has a presentation called My Tech Diary. All right, Jimmy Ngu from
Yep.
somewhere,
I need to
from a
share
posh
screen.
place with a piano. You're trying to share something. So when I got when we had the new M1 Max, it becomes a very difficult thing to share. Like the permissions of the new Mac OS is very difficult.
Really? I never had any issue.
Really? Okay. Well, take it away, Jimmy.
Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay, I guess I couldn't see you guys. So if you guys make a gesture or something, make sure Tristan tells me about it. All right, cool. Hi, it's great to be here at this meetup. I guess is it often that we have a Elixir / Ruby
No,
meetup?
this is the
Or
first time we've had it
it's the
in
first
3 years because
time?
Kang Sheng
Oh,
invaded our last Ruby meetup and said, "Hey, we want to do an Elixir meetup." So that's what
ah,
happened, by the way,
cool,
last month.
Okay,
Yes.
cool. Yeah, okay, cool. I'll try not to talk shit or compare about Elixir. Okay. So a little bit about me. I am a senior software engineer at Via Europe. Via Europe is a company based in Europe. The company is in Netherlands / Germany, and it's a transportation, logistics, supply chain, storage, custom clearance company. So I'm not sure whether you guys are interested in this industry. I wasn't at first, but it is quite interesting. You tend to imagine like uh, trucks on the road, planes in the skies, trains on the railway, bringing all the logistics into our e-hub, and then we get to process it and stuff. Quite interesting. So yeah, I have been a software engineer for over 18 years now. And I've been a Ruby developer for more than 12 years and a remote developer for 6 years. So as I was preparing this, I kind of noticed that something happens to me every 6 years. So I have no idea why. But yeah, it is what it is. And you can usually find me on the internet with this handle. I think the easy way to say this, somebody told me once, is Jimmy and Gaisi. So yeah. So yeah, that yeah, whatever. So that or you can just Google me, my name. I think I'll pop up in the first page. So if you need to find me. Cool. A little bit more about me. I love cats. I have 3 of them. The one on the left is called Apom Rolex Ginger. The one on the top is called Kubo Silver Ikan Kembung. The one at the bottom is called Titi Ponyo. I also love planes. I like flying them. I like aviation. So any aviation enthusiast out there, reach out to me. We can geek out on aviation.
Yeah, Jimmy is a Rubyist, by the way, and he flies planes.
Yep.
Just making that connection.
What connection? I have no idea.
The
What you
Ruby planes, like
Ruby planes?
having enough to actually fly.
Oh, you guys don't have enough to fly? No, I mean, I really love the Ruby community. You can see that we are really friendly, and I think the Ruby community has always been touted as one of the most friendly tech communities out there. I still believe it, but unfortunately, because of COVID, we cannot gather in person. We cannot go to conferences anymore. So I'm really bummed out about it. But RubyConf Thailand is coming in December. Anyone going?
Yay.
I am going. I am going.
Who's going here?
Most likely.
Nobody's
likely.
raising their hands here.
So
Think. Well, it was
So-
announced quite last minute, so that's the thing.
what do you mean last minute? How long do you need
Only
for
last month, you know.
for you to make a date with you?
Yeah. So comment here is not everyone has a plane, unlike you. So
Okay. Fair enough. So yeah, if you want to hang out in Thailand, in Bangkok, in December, please come. We went there in 2019, I think, right, Tristan? I think you
yep,
were there
that
as
was
well.
the last time before
Yeah.
borders closed.
Before Gold is closed. So yeah, I'm pretty excited about this. All right, cool. And of course, I love Ruby language. So again, like Ruby's the only language I would say that made me feel like I really want to write everything in Ruby in. Um, yeah, and also if you can take a look at this Stack Overflow survey, you can see that Ruby is still one of the top earning
I see
languages.
Elixir on top though.
I see Elixir on top as well,
Yeah.
So
I don't know. I think you got the graphic wrong.
No, it's correct. It's correct. You can see that Elixir makes about $77 more than Ruby every year. So I have a question for those Rubyists who turn Elixir. So is it worth it for $77? Is it really worth it? You need to ask yourself that. Okay.
Yeah, no comment according to them.
No comment. Okay,
Yes,
fine.
so he says yes.
Yes. Okay. I'll give you the $77. Would you? Okay, fine. Jokes aside. So let's get into my diary. The reason I started all this thing is because in the late 2020s, I mean, in the midst of MCO, everyone's working from home, and we cannot hang out anymore with colleagues. And I was really burned out, and I was bored with the code base I was working with. I was working with the same code base, similar-ish code base for about 3-4 years, and nothing excites me anymore. I tried to work it out with my company. We talked about it, tried different roles, tried different responsibility. It didn't work out. So eventually I quit. You can see how happy they are sending me away, right, Tristan?
Which company are you talking about?
I don't know,
Because
like
we've been together for like different companies,
I guess both times. So yeah, so I quit, and I guess they were happy. We were happy, and everyone's happy, I guess. But still, you know, burnout happens everywhere, and no matter where you go or matter where I go, I feel like it's gonna have the same shit happening everywhere. So, for example, it happened with my previous job, and happened with my previous job, and both of the times also I kind of worked with Tristan, so maybe there's some correlation. I don't know, but still,
We have 2 more years. Let's see. It's been 4 years. Yeah, 2 more years. We'll see what your 6 year
but
pattern was.
but I realized that this kind of thing happens all the time, and for me, this time is even worse because I work with a company that's based in Europe. Not only that I need to deal with time zone difference, I need to deal with like distances. You know, my colleagues are like almost 10,000 kilometers away, and so that's, I think, what, 6,000 miles for you, like freedom units people. And and the code base and the business logic is huge. I mean, I have a lot to work with. I can explore a lot, I can do a lot of things, but eventually, you know, someday I'll get bored as well. So again, I thought to myself, so how, you know, like, am I gonna, you know, go through the same thing again? Maybe, probably, but can I do something? So that's why I introduced I started to write a tech diary. Okay. So it doesn't look like this. It kind of looks like this. So it's
Mm.
just Notion page where I start to, you know, write things that interest me, that infuriates me, that that somebody told me about, that I've read somewhere. I don't really do this before. I kind of browse through my reading list and I say, oh, okay, this is fine. Oh, maybe I'll talk about it with my colleagues, and I forget about it, and then that's it. But yeah, so I thought, yeah, let's try to write my thoughts down, so I have something to do, you know, besides getting bored. So uh
Oh, sorry,
and
before you switch, that was a very like dangerous thought of writing your own SSH agent is easy. What kind of state of mind were you in that you thought an SSH agent is easy?
I mean, the standard is there. I mean, the API is all there, so it's kind of interesting to
Mm,
see if, I mean, it's easy in a way that it's doable, that it's well documented, and I didn't go too much into it. The
mm.
reason I went into it is because of the entry above. But yeah, that's something that
Okay.
I I didn't get to do too much about it, but I read about it. I wrote something down. Uh,
Hmm.
I can't remember what. Uh,
Got it.
we can take a look at that later. So again, like, that's why I think writing down is important, because, you know, uh, difference between science and screwing around is writing things down, right? Okay, so let's dig into the diary. So of course been I chose some that is Ruby specific, and this is actually my first entry. Uh, so let's see what we have here. We have what I was writing about: what, eagle side work after initialize, found out by accident that, unlike normal, requires side work ignores and reload. Requires after Zywer is loaded, it will automatically reload if there's an existing loader for the path already registered via autoload path. So made possible by some piece of code. Um, so cool. Does anyone know what is Zywer?
Does anyone know what Zeitwerk is? Is it like Zeus?
Any hands? Any hands raising? No.
Yeah. So Fadil is asking
Some.
if it's like Zeus. Any hands?
What is Zeus?
Someone's raising. So there only one person. Two people are raising. Any more? I feel like I'm in an auction. No. Only
Uh,
two. Sorry, Jimmy. You only have two votes.
okay, cool. If you use Rails 6 and above, you have Zywork included in the Rails project, and in Rails 6, you can turn it on. In Rails 7, it's on by default. You don't even have the classic loader anymore. So Zywork is just a better code loader for Ruby, and it basically has a way to an efficient way to load your file based on the convention file structure. So for projects like Rails, which is convention over configuration, where everything kind of goes to the same place, is pretty neat place to use Zywork. And so the idea is that when you try to load a constant or class, it will try to load the file or class based on the constant name, the class name, and it will read it from there and load it into your system runtime. So let's see what this is about. Let's see. You guys see?
Yes, right? Yes. Or do you want it larger? All
I
good.
don't know. So
Carlos
for
says it's all good.
example,
So it's
okay.
good enough.
So let's see if I can remember. So let's say I have a class called Jimmy, right? Wait, did I? Yeah. So and Jimmy is loaded, and if you do like
We're waiting with
uh,
bated breath while your gems install. Okay.
yeah, we write the edge kind of. This is our company application, and we always update the gems to the latest version. So anyway, so for example, if you say Jimmy, of course it's not loaded, and if you say you want to load it, it's how do I do it again? Let's good. So Jimmy is loaded, and of course if you you want this, okay. If you load it and you say reload it, it doesn't get loaded anymore because it's already loaded, right? So for example, imagine that you're working on development and you change some code here. Even if you run reload, it doesn't reload. This is a behavior of site work, and Zywork doesn't like you to manually require things. It prefers that you give it a path to load, and if it tries to figure out which file is it, things like that. So, but in some cases we still do require, and that's why during some debugging session I figure out that you can still do it. So for example, I have a loader, right? So let's see. Do I go? Uh, so let's say I have a initializer called load green, right? So load Jimmy. So here I do require Rails root slash. By the way, I also recently figured out you can do this.
Yeah, it's an interesting syntax.
Because it's an alias to join. So if you do join, you do this, right? But because in Ruby you can override the method, so or define your own, that the method for slash is actually an alias for join. So you can actually write something like this, which looks kind of nice, right? So
Well, it looks strange if you're not used to it. I don't know if it looks nice.
yeah, if you're afraid of change, then do this. If you're afraid of you know uh trying new things
Oh,
and
this
do
one looks
this.
normal. This one I understand in
Yeah.
one go. The other one, like
If
in
you
code
do
review,
this,
did you just make a
yeah,
mistake?
exactly. In code review, you can kind of uh, uh, what's the word for it?
It attracts the
Brag
eye.
about
Yeah.
you can
Oh no,
brag
you
about
want to
this.
brag about it. Oh,
Yeah, you can
you
brag.
can say, "Huh, caught you. You said you thought
Yeah,
I made a mistake." No,
yeah.
this is valid Ruby code.
This is valid Ruby code. So this is actually this is actually the method. Okay, cool. So now, of course, it uh, loads by default. Again, I have access, but problem is I cannot reload it anymore because even though I require it again like this, it's already required. So the only way to fix this is that you need to add an autoload path. So the way you did it is config autoload. I think it's called autoload paths, and then you do what is this 8? Yeah. So you basically need to tell Zywork where to find your file, and it will try to find it in these paths. You need to put it in autoload. So it kind of looks fine. This is what I did initially. So uh, it, it's still loaded. My class is there. I can not require anymore if I reload, but I still can't uh, find it like that. So the fix is actually to put it inside uh the after initialize. Is it what I said? What was it? I can't remember. Ah, I need to cheat. Wait. um that yeah.
While you're cheating, does Elixir have a way to redefine a method like the way it was done here?
Uh,
They say yes. Hmm. You can replace modules, but can you do it the way it was done there, where rails.root slash is the method? Hmm? No, there's no way to do it in Elixir. Hmm. Yeah, I guess that's a good question, right? Why do you want to do a strange
hmm?
DSL?
What do you mean? What do you mean strange DSL? I can't remember let me
Yeah.
just Google it. Rails after initialize.
Yep. This is what is during development? The Googling? Because yes, we do. Redefining. Yes, during, I mean, there's no point. I mean, how do you do that manually when something's running in production? I'm just thinking of
You
your,
don't, because in
yeah,
production you just eager load everything and you don't
yeah.
change the class anymore. But this
Hmm.
is like during development, you kind of want to reload the stuff, and because of Zywork, it use a different way of loading classes. So this is something that you need to deal with if you have something like my setup. But if you have like a normal setup, with
Yeah.
like normal stuff, you
Hmm.
don't really need to do this. Uh,
Jimmy is
uh
a rebel, basically. Yeah. Yeah. So,
I really forgot what I need to do here.
so in Elixir, apparently REPL just loads everything because you don't do any of these strange things, right?
Yeah. So the
Mm.
thing is, before this, the classic loader
Hmm.
uh works. It's just slow.
Yeah.
So
Hmm.
yeah, the classic loader is kind of like fire and forget kind of thing, where it is basically based on constant missing. So like in
Hmm.
Ruby, if you type a constant and it's missing, it has a callback. So based on the callback, it tries to find the file, load the file, and all this thing. But with Zywork, it has optimization because it caters for conditions, for example, where you need to deal with different environments. Like production, you kind of want to load your classes differently. Usually, you want to eager load it. In development, it's a different case. So, Zywork has ways for you to kind of set things differently. But
Did you find what you're looking for?
I forgot what I need to do.
Okay. Do you want to go to the next whatever it is that you want to show
So
next?
all you need to do is you need to put it in an after initialize callback. Oh wait, I can find it. I think I have after initialize somewhere in my code. Initialize. Is it after initialize config? No. Initialize. Oh, there we go. So yeah, I need to put something like that. After initialize, and then only you require it's and then it will work. So again, this is like almost useless for 99.9% of people who are using Rails, but if you run into this issue, this is the solution. Okay, let me get back to the slides. All right. Next one. We have Sidekick Enterprise. I read the story about Mike Perham's journey of monetizing Sidekick. Because I was trying to figure out how the licensing was being enforced. But yeah, I did kind of stumble upon this story. Like after years and years of using Sidekick, I never knew that this is his story. Yeah, just some comment about, is there any, like, technically, is there anything stopping us from hosting the Sidekick files, the libraries ourselves? I guess not, maybe. I haven't tried, but yeah. So this is the entry. So for those who don't know, Sidekick is a job manager, background job manager. It is not Ruby specific. It actually, I think, can run many different types of worker in different languages. It's built into its design philosophy and on how it, for example, serializes the job parameters. But then again, yeah, Sidekick is pretty cool, and it has basically an open source version which is free. There's a pro version which has a lot of extra extension with some support packages, like, and then also like enterprise package with a lot more support and also extensions. So yeah, this is the article. We can take a look at that, I guess. So it
Bit
talks.
small. Do you want us to read it, or you're just showing the article?
I will kind of browse through it and
Okay.
show you the interesting part, because yeah, it's a story about monetizing your open source project. So so for example, like, this is an interview with him, and he talks about how it all started and the idea behind monetizing Sidekick, because he really wanted to have a working solution for this problem that is doing, right. So a lot of times when we see a problem, we want to fix it, we create an open source project, like what he says here. You start the project with much enthusiasm, build something valuable, give it away for free, and get overwhelmed with support requests and issues, and then eventually you don't work on it anymore and the project dies. So his solution is obvious, that as long, like, he if he can monetize it, then he will be incentivized to stay, and Sidekick will be better and better because there will be constant development and improvement, right? So yeah, this is story. You can go read about it. I think you can just search for Mike Perham Sidekick monetization and you can find it. What I want you to see is his revenue chart. Ooh.
Oh, he actually made it public.
Yes. This is the first year he tried to charge, I think, $50 for each subscription. And this is more than what we make a year. We saw just now, you saw like what, 80,000?
Yeah.
So this is already more than that. So I think
Mm.
this is the time that he already knew that he can go full time, and then because full time, then he made it even better, and this is his revenue growth of Sidekick. Oh my God, so there's hope for us, right? To become billionaires. But yeah,
I could also have bought Bitcoin at 2013, and we could be
or
millionaires.
or that, or that. uh, so yeah, interesting article. Just putting it down in my diary. So yeah, every time that I feel like I'm worthless, I can come in and look at this and say, oh, okay, maybe there's some hope in my future.
You can
As a,
still buy Bitcoin. It's going to go up.
it's not. Okay, so again, uh, I because I also saw this post on Developer Kaki the other day, which kind of relates to this, right? Like when uh developers charge for their work, then people will say that the developer is greedy. I think Axel is gonna turn in, you know, it's gonna. I don't know whether you guys know who
Axel
Axel is.
is another. Well, he sometimes attends the Ruby meetups, but he's an iOS developer. He does iOS. He has an app. He has applications on the App Store, and if you're his Facebook friend, your feed will be full of him posting messages from his customers asking why they have to pay for the application they're using
And
when
it's
they have
not
an
like,
iPhone, and then it's like 5 ringgit. Yeah, Jimmy.
yeah, yeah, exactly. It's not like 50 ringgit or something. It's 5 ringgit. Like it's a really useful app. A lot of people use it. Like for example, this one, like there's 1 million installed, and yet people ask you like, why do you charge for this? Why should work be free? So remember Mike's story. No, it shouldn't be free. If you're good at something, you shouldn't do it for free, right? All
Agree.
right. So,
Really?
uh,
No.
so yeah, yeah, I want to come back to the comment I made about the way to enforce this licensing, because if you install a Ruby gem, so by the way, the Sidekick Enterprise and Pro gem is posted on a private server, so you need to get access to it and with credentials. So obviously when your subscription runs out, you can't bundle update anymore, but you still have the code in your server. You can pull it out, put it in your lit folder, and include it. I think it will work. I never tried it, but maybe it's possible. Maybe some of you guys can try it and let me know. Is this the last entry? Do we have time? I think I'm over time.
We have
Right,
a few
so
more minutes.
okay, this some quick ones. I had like a TIL moment. Like if you run Sidekick, you basically start your queue by doing like run the exact Sidekick, and then what queue do I want to run? For example, here I am running 3 queues, full, bar, and bass. But sometimes you can see people putting like numbers behind it, and it's actually weights. And the way that it works is that if you put weights, it basically tell the Sidekick uh, worker how likely is it to pick up that a job from that queue. So for example, if you have 3, 2, 1, so basically that's 1 out of 3 chance. Like for example, 1 out of 3 chance of Fu getting something picked out of it, 2 out of 6 chance of it picking something out of bar, and 1 out of 6 chance it being picking out of S. So yeah, if you need something like that, then yeah, this is what
Sidekick can do it. Yeah.
Sidekick can do it. Not rescue. Yeah. So again, like more reason, more features. So again, difference between a purely open source and also a monetized project. Catchroll. So an interesting way to break out of loops. If you have nested loop like this, you want to break. Sometimes you need to break all the way out. Or you can just throw and catch it like this. Maybe this is like nice.
Is this recommended? I think that's the question.
No. But you can do it. Nobody's stopping you from doing it. So like, why
Yeah.
can't you do it, right?
It's just like your code base, I guess, right? No, nobody's stopping you from having to do Zeitwerk workarounds.
Yeah. So
Or-
if you need it, you need it, right? So nobody's gonna stop you.
No, but what I have a question on your diaries, like because they seem to be like interesting ones. Do you have like why do you put these things and why are you presenting them right now? Like what's your common thing?
Yeah. So basically, again like the idea was that for me, writing tech diaries helps me to get through some of the uh burnout moments, I would say. Even like working on a specific task, for example, sometimes you have like mini burnout sessions. For example, like problem with product team that doesn't get the specs right. You get frustrated because you need to you couldn't get what you need in time, and you ended up like uh, being really frustrated about things. So finding things to write about helps distract me from
Mhm.
focusing too much on the things, because for me, I have a bad habit of, if I am like, if I don't feel like I'm enthusiastic about it anymore, I procrastinate the hell out of it.
Mhm.
So I find that doing this helps me to get out of it.
Are you
Uh,
planning
I
to publish any of these?
I don't know. Should I?
Well,
Do you want to look at my diary? Why do you want to look at my diaries?
might I don't know. You might publish some keys or something accidentally. We can.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. So again, like it might just be something that makes you a better developer. I don't know. I feel like I benefit from it, and yeah,
It works for you, and
it works
hopefully it
for me.
works for everyone else here as well.
Yeah, hopefully, yeah. Right.
They're
So
clapping
yeah,
for you.
that's all I have. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We have
So, yeah,
questions.
that's the end of it. Any questions for me?
Questions for Jimmy. Elixir people can ask questions too, right?
Yes.
No, yes, yes. Yes, you have a question here. Oh, they're pointing at you.
I have one question, which is: are there any tech diaries that you wrote and then deleted? And if so, can you give an example?
I thought you say, if so, can you show it to us?
Let's see. I think I just left it there.
Which application is there? Is this Notion?
This is Notion. This is just Notion. Let me think. Maybe not.
So you're a hoarder. You just leave everything
I
here.
just put everything here that I feel like I want to write. But sometimes I again might be too lazy to write it, and sometimes I think it's interesting for like a split second, but I feel like it's not after the after 5 seconds. So maybe those are the ones that never got into the diary.
Do you want me to introduce you to Mary Kondo for
Mary Kondo? Why?
No.
I'm not a hoarder.
Yeah. Okay. Any more questions from the floor? From YouTube? Nobody? All right. Yes. A statement.
So the Fly.io people, if I'm not wrong, wrote their own SSH agent as well. So yeah, you're in good company, I suppose.
You see. So
Yes.
I think I saw an article. That's why about wait. Can I? No. Shit. No. Uh, Let me see. So I saw this article about like how to write an SSH agent. It seems straightforward. So-
Yes. That's the gateway to hell.
So you see, like
Hmm.
why you want to do it,
Uh,
and things like that.
Jimmy,
So
you're
I'm
giving bad
like,
impressions on the newbies here on Ruby. Don't give them bad ideas like it looks doable
why,
and then you can actually do it.
why?
Yes.
But then again,
Only
like
5 years and too many CVEs.
I,
That's what you're looking at.
yeah. I don't use SSH agent. Just
Don't write your own if you don't know what you're doing, basically, is what he's saying. Apparently Jimmy knows what he's doing. So he has the license to do it. Okay. Yes. So that is My Tech Diary by Jimmy. Stephen has a question. Have you tried Elixir? And then do you have
Not
any
in production.
opinions?
Not in production.
Not in production.
Not in production, but also not like fully worked on a feature before. I've tweaked some of it. Yeah.
Are you interested if you were handed a project that's Elixir? Are you interested in working on it? Or you just throw it out? This is legacy code base. I'm not gonna work on it.
No,
No. No. So yeah, it's no.
no, I don't want to work with anything other than Ruby code.
All right. Yeah. Well, Ruby does make people feel happier working with it. So it's
See how
usually the
happy
first
I
thing. Sorry?
You see how happy I am?
Yes. All right. So yes, this is My Tech Diary by Jimmy. We used up our parking lot allotment because while waiting for Jimmy to come up, so we don't have any more parking lot. We moved parking lot to before your slot because we finished like 20 minutes early. And now we have hiring shoutouts. I think we have one. Dr. Sean is here, so he's hiring. Which one of the two? Dun, 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 dun. We'll find out.
All right, thanks, Tristan. Thanks, guys. Yeah, my slides coming up. So exactly 12 days ago, my wife and I welcomed our son into the world. And with a baby comes parental leave. With parental leave comes time. And with time comes a lot of mindless scrolling. And so I came across, no, I'm not suggesting I'm a bad dad, but I came across an anecdotal story about US railways. Now, how many of you know how wide the US railways are? Any guesses? 4 feet. 4 feet, 8.5 inches exactly. Any guesses as to why that's so? Because from? Correct, from England. And so, and why do you think the English? Oh, English, yeah, English. The English engineers built the US railways, the first US railways. Now, why do you think they made the English railway in that length? Because they're building it for the old English wagons. Now, where do you think the wagons, why do you think the wagons had that length? Because they had to follow the ruts in the old English roads. Now, where do you think the roads came from? Rome. Now, why do you think the Romans made those roads in that exact length? So what was Rome famous for? Well, yes. But one other thing that they did. Yeah, the aqueduct, yes. But what does Rome has to do with roads? Why did they need roads? Because they had to go to war, right? And so they needed these roads for their war chariots to go through. And now guess exactly how wide were those war chariots? 8.5 inches, or exactly 2 horse asses. So now, today we have the space shuttle, right? And on the side, we have those rocket boosters. Those rocket boosters have to be transported from the factory to the launch site by, guess what? Rail. And so a major design on the space shuttle today is decided by 2 horse asses. So the lesson is this, right? Bureaucracies live forever. Speaking of bureaucracies, if you can go to the next slide, I want to show you something in the realm of healthcare. Now, this is what you see here. It's a process diagram from the A&E, or the accident and emergency, the emergency room, to discharge. Now, this is from a single hospital in a single day. In one day, this is how much communication goes on amongst a single small secondary hospital in one day. Now, the healthcare system is a very complex one, right? And, but there are so many things that are locked in bureaucracy. Let me give you an example. When was the last time you guys went to have to do an insurance claim at a hospital? Like you have to get, discharged or admitted. And how many hours did you have to wait? Forever, right? They won't let you go, right? Till the money comes out. Now, how many of you have wondered what goes on in those 6, 8, 12, 24 hours? Is there some complex AI computing your risk profile and, should I give you the money? Well, let me tell you what happens. Exactly what happens. When the receptionist calls the insurance agent, insurance company, the insurance company makes a call to a guy sitting in an office. Okay, it's one guy. Behind him is maybe about 1,000 folders. He goes in there, picks your file out, opens it up, and then picks up the phone and calls a resident doctor. And then he reads to that doctor your file. And the doctor has to decide whether you are agreeable for a claim or not. And this process may take hours. It may take sometimes even days. And this is 21st century, right? Have you ever wondered, right, when your doctors run out of medication, where do they go to buy them? Maybe some fancy distributor, right? Wholesaler, van shows up. No, he goes to the nurse and says, we're out of hypertension drugs. Go to the pharmacy and buy it. This is what's happening right now, just down the street. And I was appalled to find out just 2 weeks ago that a nationwide, in the US, nationwide pathology lab ran out of tests for the entire state. Do you know why? Because the inventory was done by one guy in a factory, and he went on leave for a week. So friends, bureaucracies are everywhere. And the chances, the opportunities for innovation is huge. Bill Gates very famously said, and he never really understood this statement until many years later, banking is necessary, but banks are not. And so this is where Biomark comes in, right? We have 3 products that are facing 3 different types of customers. We face the provider, and that's where the clinics and the hospitals and the doctors sit. And we also face the pathology labs, where every single test is being run. And finally, we have a product that faces the patient. And this completes the diagnostic trinity, in any healthcare system. Now, we are proud to say that we have achieved arguably one of the largest private repositories of outpatient data in just 3 years, right? And so it's a very, very exciting space to be in. And next year, we're looking to think about how to use this data to really improve healthcare and improve the experience, right, of the clinician, of the operators, but also people like you and me. So this is our tech stack. I don't know if you can see it. On the front, we have React, JS React Native. On the back, we have Ruby on Rails exclusively, yeah, and all the other things over there. So friends, we have the subject matter expertise to solve all these problems. We have the funds, and we have more and more now the permission to do it. But what we don't have is human resources and guys to help us build these things. And this is where you guys come in, right? And this is why I'm here. And so, you know, do reach out, right? We have, you know, if you have not already inferred from the previous slide, we are distributed very much. And we have full part-time and also freelance opportunities available. Okay, so I'm gonna do this, I guess, since it's kind of an intimate group, so I can do this a little bit differently. I have in my pocket a couple of name cards. So any of you have any interest at all or know of somebody that may want to connect with me? Could I see a show of hands? And I'll just pass you one. And if you have one as well, a name card to hand to me, please, please do. Anyone else? Anyone else? Anyone else? All right. All right. So thanks for your time. Any questions? I'll be happy to take them now. Well, it's a very loaded question. Are there any particular positions that you were hoping to know about? Yes. Yeah. So the tech team is fairly well fleshed out. We have QAs. We have product owners. We have UI UX guys. We have project managers as well, and of course the devs. So yes, we are opening up positions over the next quarter and more so the next year. So yes, within the tech team, a lot is growing. In our team right now, we're quite lean, but 80% of the team is is tech. Yeah. Way above Malaysian rate.
So question from the floor is,
Yes.
does this pay way above market rate? And the answer is,
It
yes,
pays above-
definitely
yeah,
yes.
over here, yeah.
Okay. In
Definitely,
Malaysia.
yeah.
Oh, he quantifies it.
Yeah, it's an
to be in
international rate
Malaysia.
for sure. Yeah.
All right, thank you. If you have further questions or it's too sensitive to ask in a public forum, Dr. Sean will be here.
Yeah.
You can approach him anytime, right?
Yeah.
Or if you have the name card, you can send you
Yes,
an email.
send me an email. I'm on LinkedIn.
Yes.
My phone number is there as
because
well.
it's not on the slide. Your email is, well, you can just go to the website, www.biomarking.com.
Yeah.
All right, perfect. Do we have any more other hiring shout-outs here? Yes. Well, okay. We'll go with Kellum and then we'll go with Padil. All right.
Okay.
Well,
just-
do you have a presentation like him?
Well,
that's a question.
it's
No.
it's
I
just a
think-
quick one, right, Tristan? Right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, I did actually have a story as compelling as Dr. Sean's there, but since I only have a very small amount of time, I'm going to skip that and just give you the facts. So, my name's Callum. I'm from a company called Hivekind. If you used to know Rapid River before the pandemic, we used to be called Rapid River. We changed our name during the pandemic. We're a dev shop software agency. We provide our clients with managed software teams. So our clients hire us not just for sort of developers, but just for the entire software team experience. And we do web application development. And yeah, we're hiring. We're hiring for JavaScript developers, Rails developers. Oh, sorry, no, not JavaScript developers. We got a lot of applications. That part is already filled. But yeah, we are hiring for Rails engineers to join our teams.
Yeah. Are people willing to learn Ruby on Rails also allowed to apply?
Yes,
Like someone
actually.
from PHP, for example. Or are they?
So we value. We see ourselves more as web application like experts and specialists rather than like a Rails shop per se. So if you feel like you are a solid web application developer and you sort of know the concepts, you're familiar with MVC frameworks and building web apps, we will certainly consider you if you don't have any professional Rails experience. We're more interested in people that understand best practices than, you know, how many years of Rails do you have under your belt? So absolutely. And just to sorry, Tristan. Some things about our company very quickly. We're remote first. We are agile principled, so we are big believers in inspect and adapt and iterative development. We practice Scrum on our teams. We have product managers acting as product owners on our teams, Scrum masters, etc. And our clients are mostly based overseas, so you will typically get to work with US clients and US teams if you work with us. Okay, thank you, Tristan.
You're welcome. So yeah, people who are not doing Ruby still have hope. They can still apply. Yeah, sorry, you had a hiring shout out. Sorry, yes, Kang Sheng has a hiring shout out.
Yeah. Mindvalley is hiring.
Mindvalley is hiring.
Yeah.
What positions?
Elixir developers, senior front-end developers, Android developers.
Wait, front-end developers in Elixir or
No,
no?
JS.
JS, JavaScript.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, you can't get away from JavaScript, I guess. Well, at least now. I think there's WASM happening soon, so we'll see. All right. Yeah. So anyone else who wants to shout out for hiring?
I have one.
Yes, you have one. Disemboweled voice.
CoinGecko reach out. They are hiring software engineers, lead L4. They are doing crypto. They are basically tracking cryptocurrencies pricing, and they are quite transparent in terms of their salary range for all the developers they hire, juniors to seniors. So yeah, you can check out CoinGecko career. I will paste the link in the comment section after this. Thank you.
You're welcome. How about your company, Gui?
Right now, not yet hiring.
Not yet. Yeah. Okay. They want to consolidate the stuff inside.
Yeah, true.
Yes.
It's winter, I would say, for startups.
Yeah. Then suddenly, surprise, we're hiring 200 positions. All right, so that's it for today, for this month. See you in November. Ruby Tuesdays is the first Tuesday of every month. And so if you don't remember which number of the date it is, just remember it's a Tuesday of every month. It's Ruby Tuesday. All right. Elixir, I don't know yet. We'll talk. We'll probably do another collaboration if they still want to get their feet moving. But otherwise, we'll find out on the meetup group. Get yourselves acquainted with the interface there, and we'll see you next month. All right, bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye, Jimmy. Bye, Gui. Yes, we'll end the broadcast, but here we'll continue to have fun.